Sometimes the biggest victories come with the heaviest price tags, and after that spectacular overtime win against Green Bay in Week 16, I'm sitting here analyzing something that's going to shock most of you watching right now. Welcome back to Bears News Fan Report, your home for the latest updates, breaking developments, and honest analysis about our beloved Chicago Bears. I'm here to make sure you never miss a beat when it comes to understanding the direction this franchise is heading, and today I need you to hear me out completely, because this conversation is about to get real serious, real fast. That 46-yard touchdown from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore in overtime, the celebration, the euphoria of beating our biggest rivals and taking control of the NFC North, it was pure magic. I watched Moore snag that deep ball, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. 5 catches, 97 yards, and the game-winning score. That's the DJ Moore we signed to that massive extension, right? That's the playmaker we expected to see dominate defenses for years to come. But here's the thing, and I want you to stick with me through this entire video, because what I'm about to break down is going to change how you look at this roster moving forward. That incredible moment might actually be setting up something completely unexpected for the 2026 season. Before I get into the details, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because the off-season is approaching fast, and I'm going to be bringing you every single development, every roster move, every strategic decision that impacts our Bears. You don't want to miss what's coming in the next few months. Now, let me paint you the full picture here, because understanding the context is absolutely critical. DJ Moore came to Chicago as part of that blockbuster deal that also netted us the #1 overall pick, which became Caleb Williams. The Panthers basically handed us their franchise quarterback and a proven receiver. Then we turned around and gave Moore a 4-year, $110 million extension in 2024. That's massive money, and it signaled that this organization viewed him as a cornerstone piece for Williams's development. Fast forward to right now, and I need to show you some numbers that tell a very different story than what that contract promised. Through 15 games this season, Moore has recorded 48 receptions for 664 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, before you jump in the comments saying those are decent numbers, let me give you the context. His last 1,000-yard campaign was back in 2023, when he put up 1,364 yards and 8 touchdowns on 96 catches. That's the production level we expected to see consistently, especially with a young quarterback like Caleb who needs reliable targets. The drop-off has been noticeable, and for a guy making elite receiver money, these numbers simply aren't cutting it. Here's where this gets really interesting, and I need your full attention because the financial side of this equation is absolutely crucial to understanding where the Bears might be headed. In 2026, DJ Moore is scheduled to make $24.5 million in salary, and almost all of that is guaranteed money. That's a massive cap hit for a receiver who's trending in the wrong direction, and when you consider that Chicago doesn't have a ton of cap flexibility heading into next season, you start to see the problem taking shape. Every dollar matters when you're trying to build a championship roster around a rookie quarterback contract, and tying up that much money in one position, especially when the production doesn't match the price tag, that's a recipe for limited options in free agency and roster construction. Now, I know some of you are already typing that Moore and Williams have developed chemistry, and you're not wrong. That overtime touchdown was beautiful, and there have been moments this season where you can see the connection forming. But I want you to think about something that's been developing behind the scenes, something that doesn't get talked about enough in casual fan circles. Shane Waldron's offensive system, and now Thomas Brown's approach, they both require receivers to be extremely detail-oriented, to run precise routes, to understand leverage and spacing at an elite level. Moore is an incredibly talented athlete. There's no question about that. But the scouting reports have always noted that attention to detail hasn't been his strongest attribute. He's a guy who wins with speed, athleticism, and ball skills, but the cerebral side of the position, that's where there's been some disconnect with what this coaching staff wants to implement. Let me take you through the strategic implications of this, because this is where things get really compelling for the future of this franchise. The Bears have been stockpiling young receiving talent over the last 2 drafts, and I don't think that's an accident. In 2024, we used a first-round pick on Rome Odunze out of Washington, a guy who was considered by many to be the most polished receiver in that entire draft class. Odunze brings elite route running, fantastic hands, and exactly the kind of detailed approach to the position that fits what this coaching staff wants to do. Then in 2025, we added Luther Burden III from Missouri, another explosive young talent with tremendous upside and a fraction of the cost that Moore commands. Both of these guys are on rookie contracts, both bring fresh legs and hunger, and both represent the future of this receiving corps. Think about the roster flexibility that would open up if the Bears could find a trade partner for Moore this offseason. You're looking at clearing $24, $5 million off the books, money that could be redirected towards strengthening the offensive line, adding another pass rusher, bringing in a veteran cornerback, or extending key pieces like Montez Sweat when his time comes. That kind of financial flexibility is gold in today's NFL, especially for a team that's trying to compete in a loaded NFC North Division. The Lions have built something special. The Vikings are always competitive. Even the Packers, despite that overtime loss, are going to be dangerous. We need every advantage we can get, and smart salary cap management is a huge part of that equation. Here's the reality check that I think every Bears fan needs to hear, and I say this with love for what DJ Moore has done in that uniform. He's 28 years old now, and while that's not ancient by any means, receiver production typically peaks in the mid-20s and starts declining as guys hit 30. We've got 4 more years left on that extension, which means we'd be paying top dollar for Moore's age 29 through 32 seasons. Meanwhile, Odunze and Burden are just getting started. They're young, they're hungry, they're cost-controlled, and they represent the type of draft capital investment that successful franchises build around. The math just makes sense from a long-term roster construction standpoint. I want to be clear about something because I know the emotional attachment is real. That overtime touchdown was spectacular, and there have been games where Moore has absolutely balled out for us. I'm not sitting here saying he's a bad player or that he hasn't contributed to this team. What I'm saying is that NFL teams have to make difficult decisions based on value, production, and future outlook. The Bears have an opportunity this offseason to reset their salary structure at the receiver position while betting on younger talent that fits the offensive system better. It's a calculated move, not a reactionary one, and it's the type of decision that championship-caliber organizations make when the numbers don't align with the investment. The other factor that I think is critically important here is Caleb Williams' development. Our franchise quarterback needs to build rapport with receivers who are going to be here for the long haul, guys who are going to grow with him throughout his prime years. If Moore is potentially gone in a year or two anyway due to production or cap concerns, wouldn't it make more sense to accelerate that transition now, give Caleb a full offseason working with Odunze and Burden as his primary weapons, and let that chemistry develop from a foundation that's built to last? I think there's a strong argument to be made that the long-term benefits for Williams outweigh the short-term comfort of keeping a veteran around. So here's where we land with all of this analysis, and this is the moment I want you to really engage with what I'm laying out. The Chicago Bears could very realistically explore trading DJ Moore this offseason, clearing significant cap space, and committing fully to building the receiving room around Rome Odunze and Luther Burden III. It's a move that makes sense from multiple angles: financial flexibility, roster youth, scheme fit, and long-term planning around Caleb Williams. That spectacular overtime catch against Green Bay might end up being DJ Moore's final signature moment in a Bears uniform. And while that's bittersweet, it could ultimately be the right move for where this franchise is trying to go. Now I want to hear from you, and this is important. Do you think the Bears should explore trading DJ Moore this offseason to free up cap space and build around our younger receivers? Or do you believe keeping that veteran presence and his chemistry with Caleb Williams is too valuable to give up right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I read every single one, and your perspective matters in these discussions. We're all in this together as Bears fans, and I want this channel to be a place where we can have real, honest conversations about the direction of our team. If you found value in this breakdown, hit that like button, share this video with your fellow Bears fans who need to understand what might be coming this offseason, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. I'm going to be covering every development, every trade discussion, every roster move as we head into what could be a franchise-altering offseason. The Bears are building something special around Caleb Williams, and you deserve to have access to in-depth analysis that goes beyond surface-level takes. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, bear down.